Don't go broke on Broadway. That's right, the NASCAR Cup, O'Reilly, and Truck Series all head to Nashville Superspeedway. We get you set for the occasion next with our best bets right here on the Backroad.
I don't drive a Monte Carlo, and my truck ain't painted black. It ain't got a big white number 3 turning left around the track.
Diecast NASCAR fans out there.
All right, and welcome down the Backroad, In Between Media's NASCAR betting program. We're getting nasty in Nashville as all 3 series are setting up shop in the Music City this weekend. We're going to get you set, of course, from a gambling perspective, and I'm your host, Seth Woolcock, fresh off a bachelor weekend and my final time on this particular program as a single man, as I'm getting married in just about 9 days from now. And I'm joined by a man who's married both to the game and an absolute gem of a human. He's our data and projections analyst. He's Chris Collichio. Chris, how are you? And have you been down Broadway yet?
Man, it's a blast to be here. Back-to-back weeks, Seth, with you.
Yeah.
And yeah, I went to Nashville for my bachelor party 4 years ago. So kind of funny that's kind of circular motion here. But yeah, I've never been to Nashville Superspeedway, but I think it'd be a cool track to go to. I think just being there in Nashville in general is just a really cool place to be. So yeah, definitely excited to talk about the race there tonight. I think we got a lot of interesting data points to look at.
I completely agree, man. Some stuff going on in the model that certainly pops the eyes. You know, some eyeballs emojis hitting the chat earlier today when I saw that come through. So looking forward to that. Best spot in Nashville. What was your favorite place out of all of them that you went to, if you can remember them?
Oh man, I can't remember the bar we went to, but we found a bar that was like a triple decker bar, and every floor was different. It was like a different theme.
Okay.
And so I'm a big Luke Combs guy. So the first night that we were there, the guy on the bottom floor was playing like all Luke Combs covers, and man, I was drunk off my ass in the front row, just having a great time. I mean, that man could have been Luke Combs for all I know. But yeah, I can't remember the name. I'll have to look it up.
Okay. App State alumnus, so supporting your own out there. I'm sure he appreciates that for sure. And also we appreciate, Chris, is all the fine people out there on the internet joining us today. Marcus, he was in here about 3 hours ago, ready to rock and roll. Of course, he's going with Christopher Bell this weekend, asking everyone your picks. And yeah, let Marcus know, let us all know who your picks are for this weekend. We want to hear from you, whether you're live with us in the chat or watching after the fact. We also have our friend Rosie G saying the 5 or the 1 for the win. I think that's a new name with us live. So Rosie, Rossi, however pronounce that, let me know. And we appreciate you hanging out with us. And Andrew, same question. Who is going to be on the right strategy and run along for track position? We know Nashville is a track, Chris. It certainly can have some funky things. Strategy has come into play the last few years as well. And Stan saying Blaney for the back-to-back. And that's cool with him as well, saying feels like a Blaney week. And Tyler, of course, reminding everyone, please hit that like button and show us some love. We'd really appreciate that. Absolutely. And Old Red, who's Old Red here? Old Red Dog? Is that what we're thinking stands on here, Chris?
Either that or he's trying to tell me, he might be trying to say the name of the bar we were at, but I don't think that was it. I'm currently looking at a map. I'm trying to figure out where I was.
Okay, all right. Chris is doing a little extra data research for us. No chairs thrown off the top of those roofs, right? No chairs when you were there?
No.
Okay.
No, actually, when we were there, the rooftop bar was closed. So it was only like really, even though it was a triple deck bar, we only had the 2 to go between. But yeah, I don't think it was all red.
Okay. And folks, on tonight's program, it is going to look like this. We're going to go in the rear view. We're going to react to all the unfortunate events that happened prior to the Charlotte weekend, the unfortunate events that kind of transpired during the Charlotte weekend as well. And then, of course, we'll break down all there is to know about Nasty Nashville and Park Garage props as well, our best bets for the weekend. And be sure all the great bonus content is on our new channel. And we have actually rebranded that from the Backroad sub-channel to the Fantasy Racing Advice sub-channel. And very important, you guys go over and subscribe to that. Right now, it is FSAN Racing on YouTube at FSAN Racing. This is the last week you're going to be able to find us right here on the main IBT YouTube channel. We got some big stuff. It's still kind of up to something this season. We're letting the cat out of the bag a little bit earlier. If you can put those pieces together, no shame on you there. But that is where the Backroad is going to be streaming exclusively every single week. All the bonus content, really all our racing content will be right there. So if you can subscribe over there, we want to make sure that you're staying connected with us. We'd really, really appreciate that. The link is in the episode description, or just search FSAN Racing Advice on YouTube and it'll come right up. And we will also soon have, I think, a bonus episode over there on silly season updates coming soon. And again, thank you to everyone who is live with us right now on the IBT Media YouTube channel. We really appreciate everyone who's in the comments letting us know who they're picking right now. We got Hunter checking in saying, watch out for Hostfar this weekend, top 10 and sprinkle on top Chevy. Don't hate that play at all. And Red Dog, here's a little Red Dog from Blaze Wolf coming in hot for his 6th win of the season. And if you guys subscribe right here, subscribe over there to that bonus channel. And then if you can also make sure you're hitting up the audio version of the show, we'd really appreciate that. And Chris, let's go ahead and fire things up here and go in the rear view.
Baby, that's how you do it. Thank you guys so much. You guys are awesome. You are the fans. No way! We did it! Yeah!
All right, and we're going to start the show with some unfortunate news here that Kyle Busch has passed away at the age of 41. It's one of those moments where, you know, kind of like the Kobe Bryant situation where I don't think you'll ever forget where you are. I don't think you'll ever forget that first shock that you had when you heard this news. So, Chris, if you could kind of break down what the report and what the death certificate is telling us, just so we can get that out of the way, and what really happened to Kyle Busch, because I know it was top of mind for myself and really everyone I was interacting with this weekend.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, I know that when we all, like you said, when we all get that news, I think we were all shocked and trying to figure out like what the heck happened, because it happened so fast, right? I mean, it started with really, I guess Thursday morning was really the first time we really heard anything about it. It was Thursday, like I want to say like 11 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
Which was honestly, it was fan day in Charlotte here. So there was a lot of race shops that were having fan day. I know that JRM was having like live podcast that day. But like 11 o'clock, RCR comes out and says, you know, Kyle Busch is going to be out for the weekend with a severe illness. And then a mere 6 hours later, 5:30 p.m., all of a sudden we get news on it seemed like every outlet. I think I had like 6 notifications on my phone from different news sources of just Kyle Busch is dead. And you're just like shocked. I mean, I audibly was like, oh my God, in my house. My wife was like, what? And it's just like, it set a damper on the entire weekend. But yeah, according to his death certificate, Busch had been battling bacterial pneumonia for days to weeks before he died on May 21st at 4:37 of natural causes. The pneumonia progressed into sepsis, which set in roughly 1 day before his death. The sepsis triggered disseminated intravascular coagulation, which is abnormal clotting throughout blood vessels that cuts off the flow to the organs. And that was followed by a hemorrhagic shock caused by severe bleeding. The DIC and hemorrhagic shock lasted for hours. So that's the official death certificate. That's what's on the certificate itself. I think that's kind of what we all assumed after, we all heard that Watkins Glen radio clip from, 2 or 3 weeks ago where he asked for a doctor immediately after the race. There was those interviews immediately following the race talking about how, he had like a really bad sinus infection that he couldn't quite shake. Brad Keselowski came out recently and said that Kyle Busch flew home with him on the way home from Dover, and he could tell that he just wasn't quite right. And he had like a really bad cough, but he didn't think anything was like that serious. So it's still baffling to me that it happened so fast. It really makes you think, like, I know just as men, right, we tend to just be like, oh, we'll be fine. Like, we'll tough it out. And it really makes you question, like, you don't really want to do that because stuff like this could happen. But yeah, I mean, overall, right, I mean, it is the Kobe Bryant of NASCAR, truthfully. I mean, the legacy that Kyle Busch has left on us, on the sport, on the world. I think Jeff Gluck said it best. I think it's his quote, if I remember correctly, but he said, you don't have to know someone for them to have an impact on your life. That's exactly how I felt the entire weekend. Like, I was never the biggest Kyle Busch fan. You know, I think there was times where he was a jerk, right? For sure. Like, but that's just that's what he was. And he was so good at his craft. But you know, you can also look back and with a ton of respect for what he did for our sport, the amount of wins that he had, the amount of impact he had on all the drivers. You could see just the amount of drivers that were struggling the entire weekend. And Jordan Bianchi had a story out there on The Athletic about just how somber the mood was in the garage overall.
Right.
That scene where they lowered the 33 car out of the hauler with all the teams just standing around watching, that was just everything about it, man. Everything about it was so tough. I give a lot of credit to Samantha to be able to come out there on race day. I mean, her and Kurt and Brexton to be able to be in front of everybody after that happened, that's just the amount of courage that takes. But I think Steve O'Donnell handled that perfectly, giving them, you know, just to kind of telling them that everyone's going to have their back. You know, all the drivers coming out and saying, you know, they're going to do whatever they can to be there for the family, to be there for Brexton. Like, I think the overwhelming support just shows you how important Kyle Busch was to NASCAR. And it's truly, it's just, I'm still struggling personally. And we're actually a week since it happened. And I'm still like, it's hard to process.
Yeah, and it's one of those things that whether you're a racing fan or not, you know the name Kyle Busch, right? He was kind of just, you know, when you think of NASCAR and you ask people to name 3 or 4 NASCAR drivers, I bet he's in everyone's list. And, you know, I think Marty Smith kind of put this best on SportsCenter on Thursday night, that like Kyle Busch really was like, when you zoom out and take a 50-foot level to it, Kyle Busch was the type of person who showed us what you can do in a life and what you can become and how you can evolve as a man, right? And, you know, I definitely feel a little bit like I have some similarities in Kyle's story, right? I remember when I was young and I thought I had the world at my fingertips, right? And you go through things and you grow up and you mature and eventually your priorities shift, right? And we saw that for Kyle Busch, where like he didn't want to be the villain. It was kind of how he was painted early. He was, you know, kind of what Carson Hocevar has been going through over the last year or two, where he's going to put people in situations. He's going to make racing moves that people are going to not like all the time. And he kind of just had to deal with that. And he kind of became the heel of the sport for 10, 15 years until really he became non-competitive, where fans started to appreciate it. And we kind of wanted that back, right? And to see that evolution and the grace he had with his children, with his wife, and the relationship they shared, I think that's the toughest part for all of us, right? Because at the end of the day, yes, we will miss Kyle Busch in a race car on Friday, on Saturday, on Sunday. I mean, this is the guy who has the record right now for all-time NASCAR wins across all 3 of the top national series. But more than anything, it is so sad that he will not be in Brexton's life anymore, especially because, like, you could tell, man, like this was a guy who he wasn't winning on the track, but he didn't care because he was winning at life, man, right? I mean, he has an absolutely great relationship with his wife, and you could tell like all he wanted to do is make sure that Brexton got every opportunity to be a better driver and be a better person. So it's tough, man. I wish there were better words than what we have, but I thought you said it gracefully, man. And you know, thoughts and prayers with the Busch family right now.
Absolutely. And I also think a big takeaway too for, I mean, everyone watching, everyone who watches this, and everyone who maybe seen the interview from Chase as well. I think it's truly amazing that Chase Elliott wants to do whatever he can to make sure Kyle Busch wins most popular driver this year. I think that's just a huge, great act by him. And the fact that it's almost following in his dad's footsteps, because his dad, Bill, did the same thing when Dale Sr. died. He kind of put it to the side and said, like, I want everyone to vote for Dale. So Dale got that most popular fan vote. So I'm urging everyone, we're voting for Kyle Busch this year. Like all you Chase Elliott fans, just put it. Chase is going to be here for a long time. Let's vote for Kyle.
Yep, I 100% agree with that. And you know, just the support from all those drivers too. You know, and Chase saying, "Hey, I'll do whatever I can to help Brexton, you know, make it in this sport, and if that's what he wants." And so, as Cole's saying here, weighing in, saying, "Still doesn't feel real. Me and my fiance were just at the Dover race." For his last race, and just feel so sad, feel for his family and the NASCAR community. This one's going to take time to heal from Rest Easy Rowdy. I agree. I completely agree. And it's one of those things where we've also seen people come out of the woodwork sharing these stories of Kyle Busch. I mean, Tuesday he was out there at a go-kart track opening, right? And Wednesday he was meeting and greeting with fans. And I think anything, and like, I know some women watch this program too, but like, as men, we need to take care of ourselves and we need to take care of each other, right? And like, it's easy not to go to the doctor. I didn't go to the doctor, I think, for about 10 years in my life, Chris, just because college got busy. After college got busy, I didn't go to the dentist for about 8-9 years. And I'm embarrassed to say that, right? But it's like, those are the things we need to do. We need to take care of ourselves when we are feeling sick. We need to make sure we're recovering. We need to make sure we're getting back on the mend, because this feels like something that could have been preventable, right? And that is maybe the saddest thing of all of it. So Kyle, you've done good, man. We appreciate everything you've done for the sport, everything you've done for your family out there, man. And they'll be with us in our thoughts and prayers moving forward. Blaze Wolf saying, I honestly don't know who I'm going to pick to be my favorite driver now. There's a few I like, but I just don't know. Hey, I get that, man. And I'm totally with you there. Like, I'm someone who, like, I have drivers I favor, but, you know, I don't really have a favorite driver. And Chris, even funny enough, you know, my last thing I'll say here on Kyle Busch is my stepfather, diehard Dale Earnhardt Jr. fan. I don't really remember 9/11. I was only about 3 years old. I remember the day Dale Earnhardt Sr. passed and the impact it had on my family. And like, my stepdad's so much of a fan that he has an entire back tattoo of a NASCAR race. Dale Jr. is there, Dale Sr. is there, Beavis and Butthead are there as well. And he had become a Kyle Busch fan over the last 4 or 5 years. And you know, just because you have that respect, right? And you have that, you know, just utter, I can't even think of a better word than respect, right? But just like utter admiration, I guess, for someone who had done so much good in this sport, and it was just so talented. So any thoughts from you here as we wrap up Kyle Busch?
Yeah, I mean, I think that, you know, the people in the comments have said it best too. Like, it's going to take a while to process. It's hard. And
yeah,
you know, being a dad too, like that hits hard.
Yeah.
Just so, yeah, I mean, I really hope that some of these drivers do what they say and that they're going to really step up and be there for Brexton. Cause I think right now, more than anything, Brexton's going to need that support in his life, because now he's got the world on his shoulders to like live in his dad's legacy and try to do it without his dad without his dad there. So I just really hope some of these drivers really put actions to words, or words to actions, and really step up for him. And I know this sounds so minute, but like, even today, putting the model together, having to take his name out of the model was like crushing. I was like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm having to do this right now. So yeah, it's just going to take time, but I mean, all we can do is continue to honor him and mention his name when we can, right? Like, when we're going through stats each week, we can go back and say, this is a track where Kyle won at 15 times, right? Because there's plenty of them. So
yeah. And you know, all the grace everyone had for Dale Jr. 20 plus years ago, Dale was a man, right? And like Brexton is a boy, and he's having to grow up way too early. So thoughts and prayers with them. And Rowdy, you will be missed, and we thank you for your service on this earth, my friend. And may you rest in heaven, man. May you rest in heaven. I do want to move forward though here, Chris, and I want to talk a little bit about what we saw over the weekend. Cup Series. This was a race where, I mean, man, if I could have bet Joe Gibbs Racing or just Toyota in general with how Tyler Reddick was running as well to win this race midway through, I would have bet the whole house on it, and doesn't come to fruition, right? Late in that race, segment 3, Daniel Suarez, he takes a 2-tire stop. We eventually get some back-to-back cautions. He ends up out racing some people there on the restart, gets out front, does lead some good laps there, but the race does ultimately end short. What is your thoughts here on the overall Coca-Cola 600? I think it was arguably one of the best races of the season, definitely a long one. And, you know, hats off to Daniel Suarez for maybe not, you know, the most deserving win, but a deserving win nonetheless with the strategy call from the crew. And, you know, he's someone who gets out there on restarts and he can't handle himself. We've seen this a few times from him now in his career.
Yeah, I agree fully in the fact that I think this was one of the best, at least intermediate tracks we've seen this year. I think it was phenomenal racing, as Charlotte has been in the next gen era. Yeah, I'm in similar to you though. I was on Reddick and Bell outright, so I was pretty crushed at the end of that race because, you know, I think Bell had I think we all thought Bell or Hamlin was just going to just get right by Suarez, right? It was going to be a race between the two of them. And I think between the two, they really cost themselves a win because they were they spent more time fighting each other than they did trying to get past Suarez. So, yeah, I mean, credit goes to Suarez. Like I'm not one of those people out there that's trying to say that he's an unworthy winner. I mean, he was probably a top 10, 12 car all day long. So he was right there. They just happened to make the right call at the right time. Being in Charlotte, I didn't go to the race, but I'm probably about 20-ish miles from the track, and it started downpouring here, like right there at the end of stage 2. And I thought that was going to be the end of the race. To be honest with you, I was surprised they even got as much as they did. So I'm just glad it ended up being. We almost got there. Like I know it's not the full 600, but we were like 26 miles short or something like that.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, I mean, hats off to Suarez. I think it was a great race, but JGR, man, this was at one point, I think 1 through 6 was all JGR in 2311. It was insane.
It absolutely was. And Hunter giving some praise out here for Suarez, saying smart move by mi amigo for taking only 2 when everyone took 4, knowing rain was coming. Yeah, and that's sometimes that gamesmanship that like you got to have in NASCAR, right? Specifically in the Cup Series. And, you know, pretty chalky top 10, I would say, like the rest of the way through. Ty Gibbs looks strong. You know, you mentioned the rest of the JGR stable. Kyle Larson, kind of the one lone Hendrick guy, looked good. William Byron ended up kind of having a late surge there after some early disappointment. Blaney, Logano somehow finished top 10 after not looking great all day. And then, like, you know, a couple honorable mentions here. Zane Smith show. I mean, he continues to be by far the best and only front row car that you can really have on your card at any time this season. He finishes P10 after leading some laps in the middle of that race. Shane Van Gisbergen, same thing for him. This guy has been just wicked impressive, man. Just continues to improve on ovals. It seems like every time we go to one. So for him to have the grasp on a track like Charlotte this early in his career, to be out leading laps, scoring stage points all night is great. Ricky Stenhouse Jr., great race for him as well. He was someone pretty much running top 5, top 7. A lot of this race finishes P12. And neither shout outs for you here for Sunday.
I don't know that. Yeah, I mean, I guess the Hendrick call out was interesting, right? Because you had Larson pretty much being the lone wolf there, like for most of the race. Byron was kind of out to lunch. Chase Elliott was wrecked pretty early, but also out to lunch.
That hurt. That hurt
me. Bowman was bad. Like I didn't expect that. And yeah, like Logano out of nowhere, I think was honestly interesting too. Like all day long was running like in the 20s, and then all of a sudden I look up and he's 8th. I'm like, where the heck did he come from? So classic Joey Logano. They probably, I wouldn't be surprised if they made some pit strategies there at the end to get up there. Yeah, I guess, I mean, RFK too. RFK, I think they kind of disappointed me a little bit. I expected them to be a little bit better. I had a Chris Buescher top 10 that I thought was a really, really solid bet, and that didn't really feel like it had much of a chance there. He was not that great. So yeah, really not much to say other than like, we should have just bet Toyota last week and called it a day.
Yeah. Legitimately, I think I would have saved my betting card a little bit. Only bet I hit on Sunday night there in Charlotte was Tyler Reddick, minus 130 over Kyle Larson. Much more of a sweater than it needed to be for 1.6 units. It looks like you hit some bets here on Sunday as well.
Yeah, just 2. Chris Bell top 5, and then Chase Briscoe, Chase Elliott. But still down for the weekend between Charlotte and Indy.
Okay. Yeah, let's talk about some of those other races too. Ross Chastain, and just some, like, you know, I'm really glad I didn't bet any O'Reilly and Truck, because once we got past the Wednesday show that we were a day early, we didn't have odds, and then by the time we got past there, it kind of looked like they might be a wash. Ross Chastain lucky enough to be the leader when the fog came rolling in for that O'Reilly race there on Saturday. The Truck race rescheduled from Friday to Saturday, then Saturday to Sunday. Lane Riggs wins a time shortened race. So you know, I think it's one of those things, like, I know people are upset about it. I think you just have to kind of get it in when you get it in. You don't want to, you know, really compete with the Indy 500 and the broadcast there, especially when it's with one of your TV partners in Fox. So I think the right calls were made, even though, like, those races kind of sucked. It definitely sucked if you gambled on them. And then the Indy 500. I mean, what a show. And this was really, once again, the race of the day. Like, as good as the 600 was, Indy 500 delivers out there the Brickyard. Felix Rosenquist edges out David Malukas in the closest Indy 500 finish ever. So much action, so much passing, so many lead changes. Yeah, the hometown kid Connor Daly out there. Yeah, the defending series and race champion out there, Alex Palou, ripping out front for a while. And you and I, man, so close. We are both hot on David Malukas coming in. We thought he was going to be the next Team Penske driver to do it. I think I had a plus 840 ticket on him. I know you had a 9-1. So thoughts on the Indy 500? Any bets that you hit on that side of things?
No, not one. It didn't hit any of them. That's why my weekend was so bad.
Oh no.
Because the Malukas outright missed. I had Santino Ferrucci top 5. I think he finished like 8th. I had Connor Daly top 5. He finished 12th. And I had Scott Dixon top 10. I don't even know where he finished. He was up there leading for a while.
He was.
I don't even know what happened to him, but yeah, that was crushing. So yeah, between the Malukas P2 and the Seabelt P2, my Sunday was pretty bad. But yeah, phenomenal race though. I loved that Indy and how it came down to like strategy. Like we had those 3 guys out front. Like, were they going to make it on fuel? And then all of a sudden we get the caution. It's like, oh, 1 lap to go, like a 1-lap shootout.
Mm-hmm.
Truthfully, like from a NASCAR, like watching that as a NASCAR fan though, did you not think like, and we obviously had bias because we had the Malukas outright, but did you not think Malukas was out front and the 2 guys behind him, I think it was not Rossi. Who was it? It was Rosenquist
it was Rosenquist and Pat O'Ward was in that mix, but I do not think it was actually
Pat O'Ward. It wasn't. I'm trying to look at who it was. Yeah. Either way, it doesn't matter. Those 2 cars were battling side by side, right? So like in a Armstrong, there we go. Thank you, S. Cole.
There you go. Yep.
They were battling side by side. And from a NASCAR standpoint, I thought, oh, they're battling side by side. Like Lucas is going to drive away. Like there's no chance they're going to be able to catch up. Like they're just taking the air off of each other. And then Rosenquist shot out of a cannon on that front stretch. So that was pretty crushing for our bets, but an amazing finish. I mean, talk about just super clean, super awesome finish.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be one of those things too. They kind of slowed each other down with the drag enough for Malukas to get away. He didn't. I still was able to hit David Malukas over Connor Daly minus 115 for a unit and a half. Should have probably lathered that up to a top 5 as well. Pat O'Ward top 5 plus 125. Another guy who continues to be just absolute chalk there for 2 units. And then the biggest bet of the weekend came through. Santino Ferrucci top 10 minus 134 from our friends over in Pittsburgh. For 3 units. And then we should probably also mention Canadian Grand Prix went down as well because, you know, F1, like, come on. Like, I'm not even Monaco's an absolute dog crap race, but like, I like the atmosphere of it. I like seeing the boats and like, it's kind of just a good start to my morning. So, of course, F1 has to go screw everything up by running a 4:00 race here on Sunday up there in Montreal. But Kimi Antonelli, 4th win of the season, I believe it is for him. So they're really kind of running away with it at Mercedes right now. But I did hit a couple bets over there. I had a nice Carlos Sainz top 12 plus 125 or 0.6 of unit, and then Carlos Sainz top 10 3-1 over at the score as well. So those are pretty cool. I was glad to see that. One more thing we should probably actually mention, Chris, because you know, I've been seeing some people on the internet talking about this, and it was pretty wild. But Jamie bringing it up in the chat. Jamie, thanks so much for joining us, man, saying 2311 head accounting executive suspended indefinitely from NASCAR after being arrested for a felony arrest for hitting a 79-year-old man with a golf cart allegedly at the Coke 600, $125,000 bond. Chris, this was mind-blowing, man. I could not believe that this would happen. Like, you got to keep your head on a swivel, like especially when you are behind the wheel of any type of motor vehicle. I don't care if that's a golf cart. I don't care if that's a moped. I don't care if that's a monster truck. You got to keep your head on a swivel. You got to be on your P's and Q's. Not really sure what happened here, but definitely a weird situation in a team that's just been, you know, all smiles so far this season.
Yeah. And for it to be $125,000 bond, I don't think this was an accident. I mean,
feels like there's some intention behind it.
Yeah. I mean, I don't have any details here. I know nothing. But like for that big of a bond, like there had to be intent here, and there had to maybe like put that bitch in reverse and went back over him. Like, I don't understand what happened here, but I know we probably shouldn't be laughing about this, but still, it's I don't understand how it's just weird to me that everyone's so like hush about it. Like, yes, like the Pockerses and the Bianchis of the world are out there, like they put it out there, but everyone's asking them like, what? Like, can you give us more details? And they're like not talking about it. It just tells me like something bad happened here. But yeah, very, very, very crazy. I also need to say that I appreciate you saying that, or James saying here that it's a head accounting executive. I think it's just an account executive. I got to stand up for my accounting people. I'm an accountant, so
shout out CPAs out there.
Yeah, the accountants are safe. Just account executive.
Okay, account executive. Yeah, whatever that role is. I mean, might be an open at 2311 if it is an accountant executive, Chris. So you might be in luck here pretty soon, my friend. You might have to start stop the NASCAR gambling if you take that job, but it might be available for you. So yeah, weird situation out this. Andrew saying he had a Lucas and Hauger ticket that Hauger then speeding on pit road penalty killed him. Absolutely did. And then James saying she said she was said to have been drunk. Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. Well, that makes it. That might be a DUI too. You can also get a DUI on any vehicle, folks. Remember that. Try hard saying I just hit the like button and sub. Great stuff tonight, boys. Try hard. Thank you so much for tuning in. We really, really appreciate that. Make sure you also subscribe to our Fantasy Racing Advice Network channel. You can find that. Just Google that or search that in the YouTube search bar, and that's where we're going to be streaming from now on after this week. But Chris, fun weekend of racing nonetheless, despite the news, but we are going to look forward here. We got a lot of show left to get to, so let's do it right up here in the Horizon Forecast. All right, we're firing up here in the Horizon Forecast, looking ahead to Nashville. The entry list looks like this in the Cup Series. We got 38 entries this weekend. Austin Hill back in the 33. No clarity right now that I've received, Chris. I don't know if you have that he'll be in that 33 car the rest of the year. You would think they probably want some love action in there as well. Chad Fincham, Corey Heim also going to be in this race in the 67. In the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series, Cletus McFarland back. He's going to be in that 33 car for RCR. Kyle Larson takes the 88, which will move Rajah Caruth into the 32 once again. And then for the Truck Series, we have Brandon Jones in the 1B. We have William Sawalich in the 5 truck. We have Rajah Caruth making a truck start in the 7. Ross Chastain back in the 45. Parker Retzlaff in the 62, getting some more seat time. And then Jesse Love in the 77. Any notables here from the entry list that which may be cognizant of, Chris?
So Love being in the 77. I think is interesting because I'm more going on like the silly season path than I am like the Nashville path here.
Yeah.
But you commented on like who's going to be in the 33 the rest of the season. I find it interesting that it's not Love because you would think natural progression would be that they want Love in that car next year. But it actually sounds like on the rumor mill right now, apparently Love might be trending towards Spire next year, which is why he's in the Spire truck.
Ooh.
So I think that's a little interesting development that we've kind of seen out of the weekend. Not to mention that Hocevar also has been scratched from that truck ride the last 2 weeks. He was supposed to be in the truck the last 2 weeks and hasn't been. So the rumors are flying, which I love because I'm a big silly season person. So
yeah. Yeah, it's one of the more fun parts of being a NASCAR fan because we don't get free agency like after the season. It's kind of just in the middle of it. And this is always a good time. Usually, late May, early June, this is usually when we start getting some news. So keep your head out on a swivel for that. Like we said, we're going to try to potentially do a silly season prediction episode here in the next coming weeks as well. Looking at the schedule here as well, looks like we're going to get the Truck Series race underway 8 p.m. Eastern time. That is the Allegiance 200 stage lengths, 45, 50, and 55 qualifying and practice 4 p.m. Eastern time. Saturday, then, we're going to be practicing for the O'Reilly Series at 2 p.m. Eastern time, Cup practice and qualifying, then at 4:30, and then we're going to go racing for the Sports Illustrated Resorts 250, 45, 45, and 98 laps there at 7:30 p.m. Eastern time. And then Sunday, back on Prime, which, shout out to Prime, we didn't talk about them, but great coverage with the pre-race specifically. I know there's a lot of rewriting and a lot of, changing everything around after the Rowdy news. They did a great job, not only with the pre-race, but also the race itself. Prime will have the Cracker Barrel 400 going off. They're at 7. Stage lengths are 90, 95, and 115 there. Chris, let's break down Nashville Superspeedway here as well, where, again, I was telling you pre-race, like, I hate the name. Like, come on, just, like, do us a favor. I saw some people doing some predictions earlier. Keep in mind, this is not Nashville Fairgrounds. This is a bit different of a track, too. So keep that in mind. Doesn't really matter, but if you want to be specific about it and win a bar trivia or something, 1.33 mile concrete intermediate. Chris, how did you break down the comps here? Because the internet is not consistent with this. No one's really, I don't even think drivers are really consistent from some of the data they're pulling and what setups they're using. So what did you use in the projections this week, my friend?
Yeah, so I think you just hit a really key point there at the end of that statement where you said the package that they're running. I think that is more important to look at this week than I think the tracks itself, because we are running the higher horsepower, 750 horsepower package. So the same thing we've run at Darlington and Phoenix and Bristol. Yep. That's the package we're running. So in the past and I did the same thing in the past, I've always kind of used the 1.5 cookie cutters as more of my breakdown or my comps for Nashville. This year I've kind of flipped that. I'm not looking at intermediates at all. I am strictly looking at, I think Gateway is actually the best comp because it's concrete. Yes, we don't have 2026 data, but I think that one's the closest to me at least. And then the closest of the ones that we've ran this package on so far this year, I think is actually Phoenix. I think if you look at kind of how it races, kind of has that progressive banking in that first turn. I think Phoenix makes the most sense, and we have the data to kind of back that up as well. But I also think the secondary comps are good as well, because Dover, another concrete track, obviously a lot more banking, doesn't quite drive the same, but at least has that concrete aspect. It's a mile. We ran the 750 there, so I think that one makes a lot of sense.
Yep.
I think Darlington's the last one I'm looking at. It's probably the lightest little sprinkle I put in there just because of the package, really. I think it drives way, way, way different. But those are the four that I'm looking at. I know I've seen some other people that might sprinkle in like a Loudon or a Richmond. I just think that's a little bit too far in the short track. Like, I think I want to stay in that like 1.25 mile tracks is kind of what I'm looking at. I guess to wrap that up in summary, my primaries are Gateway and Phoenix. My secondaries are Dover and Darlington.
Okay. Yep. I'm pretty much 100% there with you. Specifically, like for me, like, what did you do at Phoenix? Because we've seen it this year. And then what did you do at Dover? Just, I really do think there's some similarity between the surfaces with it both being concrete, right? And we don't have a ton of those in the Cup Series anymore. So, those were kind of the big ones for me, but I appreciate you weighing all of those. And Jamie letting us know he's our new subscriber. We appreciate you very much for doing that, Jamie. And yes, we do have Cletus this week. He's in the O'Reilly series, not the Craftsman series. And Andrew right in line with us saying he's thinking Dover. So like that. And Jamie also saying he's gotten to see Brexton run at Millbridge Raceway here, just east of Mooresville, North Carolina. How far are you from Millbridge, Chris? You're probably not that far, are you?
Yeah, it's not bad. I'm probably maybe an hour. It's not too bad.
Man, I'll tell you what, my fiance's got to be happy that I don't live in your area, because I'd be at a racetrack every night. It would be really, very hard not to. Let's jump into some of these trends, though, Chris, where we have the 6 Cup race happening here, the 5th in the next gen car. We had 1 year, of course, in the pre-next gen in 2021 once we brought this track back. Next gen winners, Chase Elliott, Ross Chastain, Joey Logano, and Ryan Blaney currently in the field. In 2022 and 2023, winners started P4 by metric and P1. 24 and 25 winners started P26 and P15. So kind of goes to show you that Saturday is important, like always, but it's not the end all be all, at least what we've seen here in the next gen. I will say, that 24 win, kind of crazy. A lot of strategy, a lot of wrecks going into that as well. And the next gen pole winners here, Hamlin, Chastain, Briscoe, average start leaders, Hamlin, Byron, Logano, Larson, Elliott, all under 10.0 average starting position. And then in 2024, we ran an extra 31 laps. Again, that was that crazy 5 overtime race that we had. And it's the only next gen race to go into overtime here. And your average finish leaders, the guys who are the most consistent here, was Kyle Larson, 5.2. Zane Smith only ran 2 races here in the Cup Series, but 7.5. Again, he had a runner-up in that 24 Chaos race. Joey Logano, 8.6. Hocevar, Hamlin, 9.0. And then Ross Chastain, 10.4. Denny Hamlin, Larson, and Ryan Blaney have actually combined to lead over 50% of the laps here since we've been back in the next-gen era. You add in Chastain and Bell at 73.6. So it really is these guys who are kind of the cream of the crop. Chastain at one point, not really would consider him now, but and Toyota has never won a Cup Series race at Nashville, which pretty interesting. Maybe this is the 1 year to buck that. So, Chris, before we get to the iFantasyRace.com Asterisk Mark Driver of the Week, break down the model for us. What were some of your findings? Because, again, eye emojis were popping in the chat after you dropped this one this week.
Yeah. So, like I said, I put together. It's pretty similar to most weeks, right? Like I always look at majority of the model is the current week's track. I look at,
Mhm.
driver rating, average finish, driver rating at all the comps, average finish. I've got momentum rankings. I've got my loop data stats, average running position, all that kind of jumbled together, right? But yeah, Denny Hamlin this week, number 1 in the model at a 99%, which is, I'm pretty sure in
Wow.
my 5 years to put this model together, I don't know if I've ever seen a grade this high.
No.
So this is insane. But Seth, you can attest, you've seen the data behind it, right? Like, he's first or second in literally every single stat category that I pulled. And there's about 18 different metrics that I'm pulling in here. So it's pretty insane. So you can expect to hear some Hamlin bets here in a little bit once we get to some bets. But yeah, I guess I don't know. I guess the surprising thing to me is just outside of that is the big drop off we have outside of that. Like, it's a pretty big drop off to our second, third, fourth place drivers in the model. But still, I mean, I think there's a lot to pull from, even just deeper down though. So I think it's kind of fun to look at this week. Yeah, I guess I don't know, anything else that caught your eye?
No, I'm excited that we have more data now for drivers that have been like pretty hard to handicap all season, like the Corey Himes of the world, the Shane Van Gisbergens, right? Like having more data for those guys. Connor Zilic too, like that has been helpful to actually kind of see where they stack up. Now that we're betting them on the, I mean, there is an SVG versus Stenhouse matchup out there. I was taking a gander at today and was thought about laying down, but no, I think those were the big takeaways. And like, as you mentioned, it's kind of the normal players up at the top, right? It's the big 3 for the most part. You got Tyler Reddick in that mix as well. And then I think the back half, the top 10 could be interesting though, because we really do drop down from like these elite drivers at Nashville to kind of just a bunch of guys hanging around the middle there. So I appreciate that breakdown. Jamie also saying he's on Lake Norman. What is the restaurant on Lake Norman that I'm thinking of? I had been there one time with my fiance last year and it was fantastic.
Oh, I mean, there's a lot.
Eddie's?
So
Is there Eddie?
there is an Eddie's. There is,
okay.
Yeah.
Eddie's. Great. I honestly couldn't remember what I had to eat, but I just remember the view, fantastic. So Lake Norman, definitely a good spot. I know you got some friends up there as well, Chris. So Lake Norman, man.
Yeah.
I didn't know you had it like that,
so,
Jamie.
Yeah, really, Jamie. Yeah.
Jeez. All right. We appreciate that though. Jamie, send us some, like, you gotta go over to in-betweenmedia.com/chat, join the Discord. And like, I just want to see your view. I just want to like see what you're working with. Cause like I'm jealous and we might have to, if you keep hanging around the program, playing an IBT event, maybe we'll rent out your lawn or something on Lake Norman. That sounds like a good time for me. Chris, take us away here with the, iFantasyRace.com Asterisk Mark Driver of the Week, please.
Yes, presented by Ryan over there, iFantasyRace. Brad Keselowski is this week's Asterisk Mark Driver of the Week. He finished 23rd last year at Nashville, but that's a misleading finish since he was involved in an accident. In the race, Keselowski started 6th, finished about 13th in stage 1, was running in 15th on lap 123, but then not much later, he was involved in a wreck with Corey Heim, which did some damage to the nose. After that, he just wasn't as good. In terms of total speed rankings, Keselowski ranked 23rd, with his speed over the segments being 15th, 17th, 25th, and then 31st. So, yeah, definitely a guy that looks like he was probably right there on the edge of a top 10 and kind of had his day ruined. So keep that in mind as we look through the model here.
Yeah, I think last week was one of the first times all season I bet bad Brad, and I was kind of disappointed. So I don't know if I'll be getting back invested this week, but still good data nonetheless. And we got Jamie. He's willing to roll here just south of Cheryl Fords. Do you know that being a local?
Jamie, yeah, listen, I grew up really close to where you are right now. So that's interesting. We're gonna have to talk after this show. I'm gonna hit you up.
Maybe you guys might have went to school together.
I know. I know. I need to know more now.
He might have been your locker neighbor for 4 years, and I don't know. We don't little 6 degrees separation. We love that. And Chris, we also love betting on some NASCAR. So let's go ahead and fire it up here in a little bit of park and garage props. Let's talk impressions of the books, Chris, where I'll be honest, I just think we're not getting fair value in the outright market. I say that, and then someone, won $35,000 last week on a Daniel Suarez. I think it was a live bet that he got like 160 to 1 or something. But like, I just don't like this many drivers under 10-1. It doesn't necessarily feel fair. So I'm kind of like waiting and hoping that maybe some better numbers and maybe some boosts pop up over the weekend. What was your overall takeaway though? Because I did like the placement props we got this week.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like it's same story, different week, right? Like I feel like this is kind of a constant complaint with the outright market. I mean, I will say, like, I know we just talked about how high Denny ranked in my model, but the fact that he's taken so much of the market has actually given us some better prices on guys than I expected. So I'm not as down on the market as I normally am. I think when we typically see like the 2 guys at 4-1 or 5-1, then it really suppresses the market. Like, I mean, for instance, I'm looking at Bet365 right now. They only have 5 guys under 10-1, which I think last week we talked about how there was like 10 guys under 10-1. So I think it's a little bit better than last week. My only complaint this week is, and we'll talk about it here in a little bit, but I'm a big pole better, and for some reason the pole bets are lagging this week. I don't know why they're like scared to put out driver to win pole. There's only one book out there right now with pole odds. Okay. So that's been my old man of the clouds. Yeah.
Grinding your gears, as the kids say. Yeah. Absolutely. Chris, start us off here in the outright market, because we are going to talk a lot about one team in particular, one that we are also close to hitting an outright on in IndyCar last week that you think maybe can get done in the Cup Series this week.
Yeah, listen, I think it's Ryan Blaney. In the last 4 years here in the next gen car, obviously he won here last year, 6th place in 2024, 36 in 2023, but he got in a wreck that year. So I'm throwing that out for not from the data, but just from my mind. And then 3rd the year before that. So 1st, 6th, and 3rd in terms of running at Nashville. But then you look at the comps, which I just talked about earlier. He won Phoenix this year. He 3rd at Darlington, 13th at Dover, 4th at Gateway last year. He ranks 2nd for me on all the comps as far as average finish goes. So then when you look at like average running position at Nashville, he's 4th, driver rating 4th. I mean, just everything kind of speaks to it just feels like a Ryan Blaney week. I think that somebody mentioned earlier in the chat, I don't remember who said it, but this track does seem to favor like not only saving fuel, but long run. And yes. I think the king of the long run has been Ryan Blaney for like the last year plus. And there's no one does it better than Ryan Blaney when it comes to the long run. So especially on concrete too, he has something figured out with concrete tracks. So yeah, I thought Ryan Blaney at plus 750 was more than fair. Ranks 3rd in the model, I think, right? Yeah, 3rd in the model for the at 84%. So yeah, I'm going for the back-to-back winner and Ryan Blaney and to get Team Penske back on top here.
Okay, Jamie here with it saying he's the long run king. Skoll loves it as well, and saying also you boys see his paint scheme this week. I did not see his.
I haven't. I need to go look it up now.
Yeah, let us know what he's running to Skoll. We'd be curious. Drop us a link or something maybe, and we'll click on that. I'm gonna stay in the same camp here, and like maybe it's just because DGen bet got hit last week that made me like jealous of not being there. But I'm getting a little DGen here at the top of the show, boys and girls here. Austin Cindric outright 66-1 at BetRivers. I'm going 0.2 of a unit on that, and then also Austin Cindric top 10, 3-1 at DraftKings for half a unit. So for me, like there are a couple times every year where I kind of just go all in on Cindric. I did it a couple years ago at Gateway, but I didn't bet the outright, and I just bet the top 10, and I was like so mad at myself because he was like 200-1. I was like, that's a great number. So like at this time, I have to go with my gut here, and I got to bet the outright too. Again, just a little sprinkle here, but for me, like I love what this guy's done at the comps this season, Chris. You look at Phoenix, qualified 3rd, finished P6 in both stages before being wrecked out in stage 3. And then like, I know the All-Star race, like I hate the Dover was at the All-Star race was at Dover, but he still finished P6 there. So you can take that for what it is. And like comes in 13th in our projection. So to get a guy 66-1, who is 11th in momentum average finishes coming into this race, he's been pretty hot lately, aside from the bad finish at Charlotte. 3rd in average starting position at comps this season. So you're probably not going to wake up on Sunday morning with a 66-1. And then also 4th in comp total speed rankings in the next gen era as a whole. So this is the type of track, like you said at Gateway earlier, your favorite comp for this. This is the Austin Cindric style of track here. And I've seen this outright as low as 40-1 at FanDuel. I've seen the top 10 down to like plus 175. So I love getting a little bit of value here on Cindric.
Yeah, absolutely. And you're gonna love this too. As far as qualifying goes, he ranks pretty well for me for qualifying. I looked at him for the pole bets too. on the comp track so far this year, he actually ranks 3rd in qualifying. So yeah, I think this is a really fun one. I think for as long as you got it, I mean, yeah, I think it makes a lot of sense. We do need to go back to the Blaney paint scheme though. I just think we might need to pull it up.
That is, I love the yellow on the number too for the advanced auto. Like that is great. That is good. That is good stuff over there. We're not really a paint schemes program, but I do like that. I do appreciate that. And Jamie saying no contract announcement for Cindric so far. Any thoughts? I know there are some rumors going around, like Jamie saying like Priest maybe to Team Penske. I just think as long as Tim Cindric is still in the building for IndyCar, like it's gonna be hard. And like Austin Cindric's a guy who's won races the last 2 years, and like he's honestly been performing better and more consistent this season than he has in a long time here in Team Penske. So I'm 100% thinking he stays. Like Chris, get a little silly season prediction out of you. Where's Austin Cindric driving a year from now?
Yeah, I tend to agree with you. I think he's still going to be with Penske, but I think his seat's getting hot. But I think the Penske seat that's getting hot is really Josh Berry. I think there's some big interest from like a Zane Smith camp. I think to move over, that could be a big one. And I missed who just said it in the chat, but something about Priest, right? Like RFK only has 2 charters next year, so you'd think one of those guys could be out. Bianchi touched on the Buescher rumors as well, that Buescher is being looked at by some bigger teams. I don't know. He didn't mention the bigger teams on Dale Jr.'s podcast last week, but you got to imagine it's one of the big 3. So I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, I find it hard to believe that Cindric's going to be booted.
Yeah. If Tim did not come back to Team Penske this year like he did, then I would say I think there's more smoke to that fire. But with Tim still in the building and Austin proving himself pretty well this year, I don't think he goes anywhere, at least right now. Maybe it's a 1-year extension. We shall see. Let's stay in Team Penske for the placement props that we're going to break into here. I got a Joey Logano top 10 plus 120 at Kalshi. Really appreciate this price because I was seeing this like at best everywhere else, even 365 was like pretty much even money, right? So getting extra 20 cents here at Kalshi feels really good for a guy 8th in our projections. Started on the pole, led 73 laps at Phoenix, scored stage points in both those stages as well. And if you extend his performance at these comp tracks to the next gen era as a whole, he's 8th in total speed rankings, right? So this is a guy, again, I think it's just a Team Penske track, like whether it's Phoenix, whether it's Gateway, whether it's Dover at times as well. This is a team that usually shows up at this style of track. And I will say, like, the one thing that's going against Logano right now, terrible form coming in, right? Like, absolute dog crap finishes right now. But, like, the same thing could have been said earlier this season when we went to Martinsville. I still slammed, it was either 4 or 5 units on a top 10 there. And, like Joey Logano, like the Ville, he just has his tracks, and Nashville is one of them. 6th in average running position, 8th in driver rating in the next gen era here in the Music City, 4th best in average finish as well, 8.25. Excuse me, 3 top 10s, 2 straight top 5. So Logano plus 120 at Kalshi feels like a pretty good number for me. Will you be getting invested with Logano at all? Again, this is just a 1-unit play. It's not like a huge gainer for me because the performances have been pretty poor as of late.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like a tale of 2 tapes for me, right? Like on one hand, he's really, really good at Nashville and he's really, really good at Gateway. So, the history here and my primary comp he's great at. But when you look at what he's done on this package so far this year, I mean, you're looking at a 31st at Phoenix, a 33rd at Darlington, a 25th at Dover. He just hasn't shown enough for me in this package yet. So, I know the track history is here. I just don't know if I can get there. I think I need more than plus 120 personally. So maybe he flubs it a little bit in qualifying. And then we can get a little bit longer number on him. But yeah, this is an interesting one for me. I don't dislike it. It's just it's hard because of the comps, right? Or not the comps, but the package that he's run so far this year.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. And I think part of that is he was so good at Phoenix early on, right? And we just need to see that late run speed a little bit. We need to see him not get back with the squirrels like he has been doing for sure. Joey, Jamie's driver. All right. Like to see that. A little Joey Logano love there for the savvy vet. And speaking of savvy vets here, Chris, we got a little squad ride going on our guy, the 99%er Club.
Yeah, I feel like we kind of had to, right? I mean, 99% in the model, you had to have something on him. I think the top 5 minus 130. I mean, he's much longer at other books. I don't know.
Minus 200. I've seen minus 300 around too. Yeah.
So, I mean, if you're watching the show, if you're in the crowd right now, I think you go snag this if you have the chance to bet your 65, because this is the shortest I saw. But yeah, I mean, I don't really know that we need to gloss over it too much. He's just, he is fantastic here. I mean, if you read off his finishes, a 3rd, 12th, 3rd, and 6th. And then so far this year on the comp tracks, 5th at Phoenix, 11th at Darlington. He won Dover. He won Gateway last year. He was 2nd Gateway the year before that. I mean, Denny is just as solid comes. He doesn't tend to make many mistakes. It seems like he's kind of cleaned up. You know, he used to always be good for like a speed on pit road. I don't think he has had that yet this year. His pit crew seems to be firing on all cylinders, which unfortunately I can't say for Blaney. So that's something I'm going against me in my outright market there with Blaney. Yeah, I mean, Denny is just super solid. So to find even anything remotely playable, I don't normally play numbers like this, but when I saw how deep he was or long he was at other books, I figured this was kind of had a slam dunk play for the top 5.
Yeah, 100% agree. I saw minus 150 over the score and it kind of perked my ears. I'm like, I feel like I would have laid that. And then I saw the minus 130 here at 365. I was like, yeah, that feels like an automatic smash to me. 2 units down. I just think like Denny Hamlin's at the peak of his performance, and like outside of Darlington, I don't know if he's missed this year, right? Like, I really don't. Like, take out the super speedways and the road courses, which he's actually doing better on those than we would expect. Like he's been absolutely in his bag right now. So I think if there's anyone who wants to get out there and win a race in Kyle Busch's honor and perform well, it's the guy that was his teammate for a longer time than any other driver has been a teammate in the Cup Series. So love that for Denny Hamlin on the top 5. And you and I, also another squad ride here, Chris, with another Toyota, Erik Jones.
Yeah, listen, I'm stoked that you're joining me on this one, because this one might be my favorite play of the week. I really love this play. When you look at Erik Jones, man, he really pops. Maybe not in the model so much. I think he was like 16th in the model, but honestly, it's the comp tracks that really brought him down. But his Nashville stats are good.
Awesome.
In the last 4 years, a 7th, a 34th, which was a wreck, and then an 8th and an 11th. So basically 3 top 10s, I guess one near top 10. But then what really did it for me was the comps this year. So when you look at the package, right, we keep hitting on the 750 horsepower package, which we are running this weekend. 10th at Phoenix, 10th at Darlington, 3rd at Dover. That right there, I was like, seal it. I mean, for plus 400 top 10, heck yeah, sign me up all day. Erik has been phenomenal in this legacy car. I don't even know where John Hunter Nemechek has been, but he is out to lunch, and Erik Jones is showing him up, and I'm super glad for it, because Erik Jones, if he gets back into big equipment, like really good equipment again, he's going to show out, and he's doing it so far in a legacy car that, if you guys don't know, Legacy, they opted, like, they don't run on support from JGR. They have no support from JGR, no support from Toyota. They are kind of doing it on their own. Jimmy wanted to create his own stable, his own metrics, kind of do everything on his own, and the fact that they're really starting to hit on some things is really, really cool for this team. So yeah, Erik Jones, I'm really, really excited for this one. This is a fun bet.
Yeah, Ellie and I had a conversation earlier this season, like I think coming in maybe our power rankings episode, and I had Jones above JHN, and I think a lot of people, question that, because JHN did run great at the end of the season, but Erik Jones, more complete driver at this point, and I think he started to figure out this legacy equipment where, hey, it's not always going to be top 10s every week, right? But he has his places, right? Like, we know when we go to Pocono in a couple of weeks, when we're up there in the great town of Long Pond, that he's going to be a threat to finish top 10. We know here when we come to Nashville, he's going to be a threat. Go to Darlington, we know he's going to be a threat there, right? So I think it's a great number on a guy who's kind of starting to peak at the right time a little bit. So Erik Jones, top 10, plus 400 when it's been, closer to 280, plus 250 other places. I'm right there with you on that. Really appreciate that gainer from you there, and also appreciate a good friend checking in, Didi, cooking at the lake house, saying hello IBT family, and hello boys. Great to see you, Didi. Hope you're having a great summer so far. And the $20 super chat, thank you so much, Didi. We really appreciate that. We'll put that to great use here as we roll up into Pocono here in a few weeks. And then Chamberlain saying Jones will start 13th if we catch rain for qualifying. So yeah, decent. I like that as well. And we also have Jamie with a $2 super chat. Jamie, thank you so much for that. We really appreciate that. It must be the giving season here in IBT, saying, will Sawalch sponsoring land him a legacy in 2020? Ooh, I feel 2028 might be a better spot for him, Chris. But how do you feel about William Sawalich? Because he definitely has the backing, if anything, and he at least has a win in his back pocket now too.
Yeah, I'm not the biggest Sawalich guy because what has he really shown us like on the track? Like I know he's got a lot of funding behind him, but I need to see more from him on the track before he earns a cup ride for me. Somebody else is rumored to Legacy, and I'm completely drawing a blank right now. But I heard it earlier today. If I think of it later, I'll come back to it. But there's somebody else that's rumored to go. Oh, it's Herbst. Herbst is because 2011. Herbst is going to Legacy, and then Heim is going to step up into Herbst's seat. So yeah, I don't think Legacy is going to be able to expand into Sawalich if they're going to keep their current stable.
Yeah. I appreciate the question though, Jamie. Appreciate the super chat as well. And Dee saying much better now that she's hanging out with the IBT family, getting ready for summer with all of us. Yes, it is. It's gonna be a good summer. I know, like the actual summer is like June 21st or like the longest day of the year, whenever that happens. But the summer eclipse or whatever. But I think Memorial Day is really the start of summer. I'll tell you what, every year Memorial Day week, allergies start creeping in too. So my eyes are a little red. I'm not stoned, I promise. I would tell you guys if I was, but just keep that in mind. So apologies there. My voice is a little scratchy too, but it's like clockwork, man. Like I think I have. ChatGPT told me earlier today I have an allergy to grass pollen, which apparently is like an end of May thing. So yeah, that sucks. And this suck. I don't know about Bowman. We'll come back next week, Jamie, and we'll get Elliot on this. So Elliot, our other main host, he's the Bowman fan. He probably is the inside track there. I don't want to speak out of pocket too much. Let's though go into some head-to-head and matchups here where shocker, Austin Cindric. Let's go, baby. Minus 130 over Daniel Suarez, 1.5 units. Suarez here, pretty decent at Phoenix earlier this season, but also wrecked out of that race. Did have a good qualifying run, though, but finished 21st in the All-Star race while running. Overall, though, he has the third worst finish at comp tracks in the series this year, 8th if you include last year, too. So this has not been Daniel Suarez's style of track. And driver rating, also third to last in that span as well. So really not a fluke that he's just not getting the finishes. His advanced metrics at Nashville in particular, about in line with Cindric, has a better average finish, but Cindric has a better driver rating here in the next gen era. So take that for what you will. But Cindric, 2-2 against him, which usually I want a 3-1 at least. But like Cindric has beat him at Dover. It looked like he was going to beat him at Phoenix earlier this season. And like, I just think after a race where you went out and did what you did in Daniel Suarez and at the Coke 600, like, I think you're going to be a little burnout, right? There's more emotions in that race than we've seen in a long time. A little bit more of a media tour than you're going to do for a normal race too. And like, there's a 6th place gap in the projection, 16% gap in the IBT grade as well. So I'm going to trust that. I'm going to fade Suarez here. And a guy I hate to fade because I've been cashing top 20, top 10 head-to-head tickets on him all season. He's one of my most profitable drivers, but all in on Austin Cindric here.
Yeah, I love the like fade the winner
next week.
Too.
Yeah.
I mean, outside of like the top guys, right? Like it's hard to fade like the Hamlins or the Larsons or guys like that. But like when you have a winner like this, like not a first time winner, but a guy that doesn't win very often, like that's a really fun play. But yeah, I was trying to look at how they're pretty close in the sense of like average finishes here.
Yes. Yep. Suarez a little bit better even.
And Suarez has been running so well this year, but I'm with you in the sense of like Cindric on the concrete tracks tends to be better. Like that's kind of his strong suit outside of like the super speedways. So I'm with you. Like I would potentially ride this with you.
Chamberlain saying just a heads up, cycling back to Cindric 33rd with the metric. Hopefully no rain. Yeah, hopefully no rain. That would be absolutely ideal. We don't need it 2 weeks in a row. Please, no, thank you. Do a rain dance for us, Chamberlain. We'd appreciate that. And Hunter saying Penske does absolutely dominate here. Chris, you're back on your pole grind despite not getting all of the odds that you wanted and all of the offerings. You still found two. One starting here, the guy who's kind of been out to lunch almost this whole season.
Yeah. I will say Chamberlain's making me a little upset right now because I didn't know there was rain in the forecast. I hate having pole bets out there when there's rain out there, so I'm a little bummed. But yeah, when you look at the qualifying model this week, shocker, right? Denny Hamlin is actually number 1 in my model, but he's I think 4-1 to win the pole. That's just not something that's not a lot of fun. So I'm not playing that. But yeah, Byron ranks 4th for me. He ranks 4th in qualifying at just Nashville by itself. His qualifyings in the last 4, I have the last 5 years here: 7th, 3rd, 5th, 13th, 3rd. So average starting position of 7.6. And then when you look at what he's done so far this year, William Byron has qualified in this package 9th at Phoenix and where's my other 13th at Darton. So a little bit farther down. Really, honestly, the 11 to 1, I'm just kind of banking on like the Chevy speed being back, because it feels like we've been kind of creeping towards like Chevy kind of sort of finding it. Like I just feel like every week they're getting like a little bit better. So the fact that they rank so highly for me in the model, I'm just hoping that they hit it at least for qualifying. Like I just need 1 lap speed. That's all I'm asking for.
Mm-hmm. And we have in the chat Jamie asking Larson's numbers here at Nashville. Well, Larson winning the pole, Chris. You know that number for sure.
Yeah, here you go, right here. 7 to 1 to win the pole. This one's more shocking. I actually like this one a lot better than the Byron one. The Byron one was just kind of a bet on top of Chevy in general. Okay. But Larson's qualifyings here are pretty dang good. 4th, 7th, 3rd, and 1st. 2.67 average starting position at Nashville. That ranks 2nd among all drivers. And then when you factor in what he has done so far this year on the comp tracks, he qualified 2nd at Phoenix, same package, similar track, 4th at Darlington, 2nd at Gateway last year. So Larson is numero uno in my model at 7 to 1, or sorry, number 2 in my model. So at 7 to 1, I will gladly take that. But I am hunting for, like, once some of these other books decide they want to play and post some odds. If you guys see anything longer than 7 to 1, let me know.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Keep your heads on a swivel for that, folks. Do you have a book that like is your favorite for qualifying bets usually that you get the best number? Like obviously placement props, we usually go 365 first. Outright, I feel like FanDuel is usually the most fair. Do you have a book that you prefer for those pull bets?
It's typically always 365, the Score, or Bovada. Those are my favorites. Caesars will post odds every now and again, but they're typically shorter than everybody else. And then Fanatics will post odds every once in a while, but I'm limited at Fanatics, so I can't really bet much over there. So.
Oh, come on, Fanatics! They don't got enough money. They're doing the white party every year. Come on, that guy's got what's that guy's name again? He's got a ton of money, dude. Yeah. And he also makes shit products too. Just saying, I don't want a Fanatic sponsorship anytime soon. I won't do that to you folks. I won't put you onto that. I only put you on to good products. I promise you that. Speaking of putting us on to good products, $50 super chat from our friend Didi. Thank you so much for that, Didi. We really appreciate that. That is awesome. That is really far too kind of you, though. Thank you so much, though. We really, really appreciate that and do not deserve that whatsoever. But what you all deserve is some O'Reilly Series bets. Yes, I have them this week. I'm back in on maybe arguably the best series in the sport right now. I'm going to start us off here. I was looking at a Sammy Smith top 10 at Kalshi, a plus 120. I was pretty excited about. And I found a plus 150 over Bet365. They're finally back in the top 10 game for O'Reilly Series here. Right now, you look at his career finishes at Nashville, not awesome. He does have a 10th place last year and then a 30th and a 34th, but does have a top 3 start, led a lap there back in 2023. Why I am interested, though, specifically here in someone like Sammy Smith is you look at what he's done on the comps this year. He was 9th at Dover. That was absolutely solid. I'll take that. A guy who was pretty much running up there all day long inside the top 15. And then also he was even better a little bit earlier this season at Phoenix, right? He finished 6th in that race, Sammy Smith did. And that comes after a race where he scored stage points, won stage 1 actually, and then finished 5th in stage 2. That comes after qualifying 7th. So Sammy Smith, someone I'm really interested in this week for a top 10. I think it's a great number at plus 150. I'm also going to throw out probably honestly one of my best bets of the weekend here. Sam Mayer, top 5 plus 150. I think this is an absolute gainer here, Chris, because you look at what Sam Mayer has done for us here at this track. He has 3 races out of 4 where he's finished top 5 at Nashville. The other one, he finished 10th. He's finished in those races where he's top 5 stage points in every stage. And also look at what he's done at the comp so far this season. 3rd earlier this year at Dover. And then also you go all the way back to that earlier race this season at Phoenix, 5th. So Sam Mayer, average running position last year in this race, he finished 5th, ran all the laps inside the top 15 as well. Didn't lead any laps, but driver rating, he was number 3 in that race behind only Gator and Connor Zilic, who will not be in this race. Zilic, that is. So like the Sam Mayer top 5. And then for all time sakes, let's run it back one more time. Give me a little Gator top 5. Yes, Justin Allgaier on the top 5, minus 150. I'll drink a little juice here because I've seen it. I didn't think I was going to be able to bet it this week, Chris. Actually, this has been the bet I've placed by far the most. I don't think I've missed it at all this season when I've placed it. So knock on some wood there. But Justin Allgaier, a little bit hit or miss at Nashville, right? Last year, he won this race. He also won this race in 2022. Does have an 8th and a 15th place finish in between there. But then you go back to that debut race in 2021, and he also finished runner-up in that race, and then has a couple top 5s going back to the old school days when he was driving for Team Penske and Dodge. So you like that. You like what he's done at Dover, where he finished 2nd right behind Corey Day. Probably should have won that race if you ask me. And then he also, he won here at Phoenix. So again, unless some fuckery happens, Justin Allgaier, who had an average position of 1.7 in this race last year, 101 laps led, best driver rating in the field. It just feels like taking candy from a baby at this point, Chris. And like, I feel like almost like 2 units is not going to do it justice. I might have to go back and place another unit or 2 on this. I just keep talking myself more and more into it, man. It feels free at this point, which is not obviously anything happening. I think he finished 6th last week, but rain shortened race.
Yeah, rain shortened, but he was still. I mean, he probably had an average. I don't have it in front of me, but he was probably an average running position of like 3rd last week. So I don't think it wasn't far off. But yeah, I mean, we've been talking about how Phoenix is one of my favorite comps, and Allgaier is like the king of Phoenix. So yeah, when it comes to Nashville, a 1.71 average running position that's godly numbers. I mean, that's 3 positions better than everyone else's average. So that's knock on wood, but I think your top 5 your moneymaker here might be rolling again.
Do you want to know a funny stat too, which I think you'll appreciate this being a man of trends yourself? Justin Allgaier, top 5 in 10 of 15 races this season. The 5 races he didn't finish top 5: Atlanta Superspeedway, throw it out. Dega Superspeedway, throw it out. Watkins Glen, throw it out, road course. Austin, throw it out, road course. And then Charlotte, rain shortened race. So every race that has been like either a short track or an intermediate, like this guy's been there and done that outside of Charlotte last week with the rain shortened. So Justin Allgaier, if you want to put a top 3 on it too, if you want to bet the outright, heck, if you want to fade Larson a little bit here at plus 450, I don't hate it at all. So really appreciate that. And Didi, remind everyone again to like and subscribe, and everyone let them know we definitely did that. So we really appreciate that. And Chamberlain, Quapple is back in the one top 5 number. Pretty decent. Yeah, for a guy who's been pretty good. I was actually looking for a top 10 for him, Chamberlain, and couldn't find a good number. But maybe I'll check back in 365 because he's been good at the comps this year for sure. We know he's a threat at Dover. Chris, let's go to the head-to-head contest where you and I both actually have one pre-flop here. So let's go over to yours first, my friend.
Yeah, I was shocked to find this. I don't normally find them this early in the week. I tend to wait closer to the weekend, but this one was a no-brainer for our contest. So, and for everyone who doesn't know, who might be new in the audience, right? We can play any matchup up to 170, right?
Yes. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, 170. So to find this one at minus 150, I think is wild. So yeah, a 7-place difference for me in the model, which tends to be where I start my picks. I try to look at who has the biggest difference. Right there was a key indicator for me. I know that Chastain and Trackhouse have shown success here in the past because it is kind of like their home race, so to speak, but they have shown us zero, nada, nothing this year. They have been god-awful. I don't know. Trackhouse has just been out to lunch. I know we've been talking about Hendrick being off, but you know who hasn't been off? Kyle Larson. Like, Kyle Larson is still doing Kyle Larson things. Yes, he's not winning races, but he's still running super, super solid. In the comps, right? 3rd at Phoenix, 32nd at Darlington, but if you remember he was running like top 5 in that race before he wrecked. Whereas Ross, in those same 2 races, Ross had a finish of 28th and 16th in those 2 races with an average running position of 21. So this just seems like a no-brainer. I'm pretty excited for it. I know it's a really long number, but I might even add to the betting card too. That's kind of how confident I feel about this one.
This is one of those matchups, Chris, when you see it, you actually get taken back a little bit by it. You're like, they really paired these 2 guys up, and it's actually a bettable number. This is actually one I think I did not see this until right before the show, before we went live, that you were on this. So I think I will actually also be adding this to my betting card. And if I already didn't have a matchup, and if I wanted to be a little bit of a stinker, I would probably use this as my matchup and just tail you on it to stay with it in one of you. I think the only way this doesn't come to fruition is if Kyle Larson somehow gets involved in something or screws up on pit road, right? That's the only way I can see this one not come to fruition. But Chris, before I give out my head-to-head matchup, let's take a look at the leaderboard where I'm coming up on you. Yes, it's a tight one now. Chris sits on top of the leaderboard with 9 correct matchups called. Elliot with 8, myself with 8, Blaze Wolf with 8, Lars with 8, and Kyle with 7. Kyle, I almost gave you an honorary point if I'm being honest, because he did it. He did the 4 KFB and went with an Austin Dillon like plus 220 last week, I think. Whoever he was matched up against with. So I really appreciate that and the end of the fun we're having with this competition. But Chris, you getting nervous yet? You're kind of looking like a Denny Hamlin where you've dominated the early part of this race, and all of a sudden you might get caught down from behind.
I know. I think I hit like 9 of the first 11, and I think I've missed the last like 3. So like I'm definitely down right now, and you guys are all closing the gap quickly. But I feel pretty good. I feel pretty good this week. So
okay, well I'll let you have your Larson bet. I will bet that, but I won't use it as my my play here. I'm just gonna go with the Cindric over Suarez again, minus 130 for me. And Chris, let's go ahead and get out of here with talking a little bit about our friends over at FantasySpin.
Spin, pick, win.
And if you guys haven't checked out FantasySpin yet, this is if you want a different kind of daily fantasy experience. Let's be honest. DraftKings, FanDuel, their DFS, especially for NASCAR and like PGA, doesn't really do it for me anymore, but FantasySpin lets you spin your lineup, make your picks, and compete in tournaments based on real player performance. Like a slot machine, you can absolutely hit the jackpot. The unique game combines the skill of drafting a DFS lineup with a captivating gamified experience. Enter the contest and spin your DFS lineup for a chance to win big. Whether you're playing for free or for cash, FantasySpin has you covered. Check out the link in the episode description. Use the promo code IBTNASCAR. And if you deposit at least $10 and play at least one tournament, you can get $30 in bonus play. Support the program. Check out FantasySpin, and let's make some noise for the rest of the racing season. And folks, a reminder here on FantasySpin as well, you can also play for free if it's not available for the actual paid play in your state. And we are going to be doing a contest for Pocono Week when we're up there for FantasySpin, an internal one, just a private IBT group, and we're going to be giving away an autographed diecast for the winner for that. So this is your chance. Check out FantasySpin if you guys can deposit for us. If you're in one of those paid states, we'd really, really appreciate that. And if not, just come play for free and join that contest in a couple weeks. We're excited for that. And Chris, we actually won last week, even despite having Chase Elliott. We took down a tournament last week here with our FantasySpin. So let's try to do it again here. What do you say, man?
Let's do it. It's a lot of fun. And I need to shout out Blaze Wolf. I think he was in the comments earlier. He's taken on the last 2 tournaments I've been in. So he's taken the top prize down twice. So props to an IBT guy taking it down.
Let's go, Blaze. Love to see that. Again, so we're gonna have 5 spins here. We have 4 locks that we can make throughout the entire spins. So keep that in mind. We're trying to build the best lineup here. Let's start it out here with spin 1, where we got a little Erik Jones and Cindric.
Austin Cindric.
Oh, we got a couple bad boys up here. What do you think, man?
I think the strategy that I figured out is like when you have a chance to lock someone, just do it. So I think we just lock Jones and Cindric, and we can always change our mind later if we have to.
Good point. I like that. I like that idea because you can't unlock them later on. So that's a good point. Let's get those 2 locks in. Let's leave Heim, Gragson, Ryan Preece, and Chad Fincham out of here. And let's get another spin going. We got Chase Elliott, Kyle Larson, Riley Herbst, and Bubba Wallace. Bubba Wallace, we haven't talked about him at all tonight, Chris, but actually rated pretty decent in the projections at 12th. I think Kyle Larson, though, is definitely the one I think I want. But I think we should maybe be open to maybe trading out Jones or Cindric for Chase, too. What are your thoughts here?
I think let's lock Larson and Chase. Let's go ahead and lock up all 4 and just roll with that until we get somebody better to replace any of the other 4.
Yep, I like that. We got 3 spins left, 2 spots, so we'll only see 2 new drivers here. We've started to figure out the strategy of this a little bit, right? Started to kind of game the system here. So let's get 2 more spins here. Okay, well, now I feel like we have to lock Tyler Reddick, right?
Yeah, I think unlock Chase probably, right? Or would you rather do Jones?
I gotta do Jones, I think.
Okay.
Or Cindric. Jones or Cindric.
No, we, 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 we both really like Cindric and Jones. So I think we just let's do Chase Elliott. Let's stick to the brand.
Yeah, fuck you, Chase Elliott. We don't need you. Oh no, I forgot. Oh no, I forgot to lock. Oh, we're hurting now, boys. I think we gotta lock Zane Smith here. I think that's what's gonna have to happen. Oh, we screwed up bad time. Oh, all right. We're locking in Zane Smith. We lost our Reddick. We got Cody Ware and Todd Gillen. We're not gonna lock. We're hurting now. We're hurting now, Chris.
Yeah.
I do not like this. All right, here we go. Last spin magic, folks. Last spin magic. We need to do it after really screwing ourselves there. Let's go here.
Give us a Denny.
Ty Gibbs and Austin Dillon, actually, like, also someone I was kind of surprised about. I mean, I'd love to have Tyler Reddick over him. I think it'd be a 20 or 30 point swing. So don't love that. But Ty Gibbs is another guy comes into the projections right here. 14th, but he's been running hot, so it's hard to fade him. Any thoughts on Austin Dillon this week? 22 in the projections. I was actually looking in the top 20 market on Kalshi for him. He was like minus 220. I couldn't do that, but he's had good runs at some of these comp tracks, including I think a top 5 at Dover a couple weeks ago.
He did look good at Dover. You're right. I forgot about that. Yeah, 4th at Dover. I'm looking trying to see Gateway. So Gateway 2024, he finished 6th. So he's got decent there. I'm intrigued. They've definitely hit something, right? Because with between Glenn and Dover, they've been like top 10 cars. So, and then Charlotte, I think we all expected them to be a lot better than they were. But Austin Dillon was up there for a little bit. I don't know, something happened. He fell off. So yeah, I'd be curious to see what Kalshi has on top 20s for sure.
Yeah. I think it was like my high was a little bit too juiced that I couldn't bet, but like maybe if it comes down pre-race time, if someone wants to go bet the other side of it and bring it back down, that'd be awesome. But hey, maybe, we're going to let Jesus take the wheel here. Maybe it was an omen. Maybe Reddick's not the bet. Maybe it's, a little Austin Dillon magic once again here for KFB. Let's do it. I appreciate that. Appreciate Fantasy Spin. Again, guys, check out the link in the episode description. 2 weeks from now at Pocono, we're going to be running a contest where we're going to give out an autographed diecast for the winner for that. So make sure you guys are checking that out. Again, use the promo code IBT NASCAR when you sign up. Deposit at least $10. And you can play at least one tournament to get a $30 bonus play special. So we'd really, really appreciate that. Or just come play for free as well. Fantasy Spin, thank you for your service.
Spin, pick, win.
All right, Chris. And before we get out of here, a couple comments I wanted to get to here. Hunter saying, I got a Honeycutt and Allgaier top 5 with Kyle Kirkwood top 3 for a 4-1 parlay. Don't hate that. I saw Hunter or someone saying earlier they were betting a lot of Honeycutt top 5s lately. Kyle Kirkwood, I know in IndyCar we're going to be back on the street, so this is definitely a place. I think is it Detroit this weekend? Maybe I'm wrong on that. Maybe I knew it was a road course. I was looking a little bit earlier and scanning those odds, Hunter. Chris will let me know here. Jamie saying SVG improving on oval since he learned English. Cousin Carl apparently has a case of brain rot. Okay, all right. Gator over Larson is a good hedge if you're Larson, if you're on Larson in O'Reilly. Yeah, I don't hate that. I think you were seeing like Gator at like plus 180, plus 190 against him. Chris, what did you find out on the IndyCar circuit?
Detroit, you're right.
Detroit. Okay. I was second guessing myself because I usually, I usually like to bet Kyle Kirkwood at those. So, Andrew saying kind of high on Bubba this week. Yeah, nobody really talking about Bell either. I mean, Bell is like high in our projections. He's 6, but like the numbers you're getting at, like I don't know how to bet Christopher Bell this week, right? Like he's matched up against guys I don't want to bet him against, and like I don't feel confident enough for a top 5, and he hasn't really ran great besides last week. So
I like him better at the cookie cutters, like the 1.5 than I do these mild. I mean, don't get me wrong. Like when we get to Loudon, like he's 100% in
short
play,
flat
like,
too. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, but like these mile 1.25s, like the 750 package, I don't know. He hasn't shown the best outside of Phoenix, where he finished 2nd. I mean, 19th at Darlington, 23rd at Dover. I think we need a little bit more from Bell at these type of tracks. But once we get to 1.5 he's back in play for sure.
Yeah. Andrew's gonna have some Bell on his card. Hunter's also gonna have some Bell on his card, saying and. Marcus, round us out. Final comment. I actually like Cracker Barrel. Chris, it's probably been 15 to 20 years since I've been at a Cracker Barrel. I worked at a restaurant in high school called the Dutch Pantry, which is kind of a knockoff of Cracker Barrel, if you would. So, any thoughts on Cracker Barrel? When's the last time you frequented there?
There actually was one in Boone at App State. So I went quite a bit when I was in college. But I mean, I don't know. It's just like a chain breakfast place. So it's nothing like special to me.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess if you like to battle the crowd and go through the gift shop's fun. I will say the gift shop at the front, those are cool. There's a lot of vintage stuff in there you can find. So
yeah, it's been a while since I've seen a Cracker Barrel. I know the parking lot's pretty good to sleep in, pretty safe area if you're ever traveling. So I went to this great breakfast spot in Charlotte. It was in Mooresville. It's an old fashioned place, had like 2 levels. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I don't know. We might need to have Jamie come through here.
Jamie, I need your help. What is it? They have a couple different locations in Charlotte area. It was awesome though. It was downtown Mooresville, had 2 floors, in and out quickly. I think I got some grits, some real Southern breakfast, and I felt good, man. Felt good about it. So I can't. I'm terrible. I'm I'm just leaving people here. Let's see. Join the IBT family. I'll put it in there. I'll put in the breakfast spot in there. We've already been rolling on too late here tonight, folks. But thank you guys so much for watching either way and tuning in right here on the Backroad. If you rode along with us this long, please give this video a thumbs up. Subscribe both the main IBT channel and the Fantasy Racing Advice Network sub channel. Again, we are going to be live streaming on there exclusively next week, so we need you to subscribe over there. We'd really, really appreciate that. And also make sure you check out in-betweenmedia.com. We have some dope written content over there. And join the Discord, in-betweenmedia.com/chat. Come join the community for free. You can also upgrade for $3.99 per month or $36 for the year if you are so inclined to check out all the great stuff between the head-to-head NASCAR contests. Also, we just finished our Survivor 50 League over in the IBT Entertainment family. Got to get some prizes shipped out for that. The IBT Golf family still rolling along through the PGA season as well with our projection model picks and predictions and entry into the head-to-head contest. And, of course, there is the IBT Football family still putting some future predictions over there as well. So lots of fun stuff happening over here at IBT. Chris, thank you so much for joining us, man. For my friend Chris Collichio, I'm Seth Woolcock. Thank you so much for watching, and keep it in between. Until next time.